Hello and welcome to this Come to Jesus Daily devotional. This week we continue in Luke, looking at Luke 12, 4-12, where the theme is on how we're to deal with pressure to hide or compromise our faith. And today we see that we are to fear God rather than people when they pressure us to compromise. Let's read from Luke 12, 4-5. I tell you, my friends, do not be afraid of those who kill the body and after that can do no more. But I will show you whom you should fear. Fear him who, after your body has been killed, has authority to throw you into hell. Yes, I tell you, fear him. Luke 12, 4-5. Today's lesson, we must overcome our fear of people with the friendship and fear of God. Fear is something that we all have to deal with, isn't it? Maybe you're scared of spiders, of flying, of something bad happening to those you love. Whatever it is, we all have to deal with fear, don't we? Constantly worries enter our minds, different kinds of worries, things that are worth worrying about, things that are not worth worrying about. Fear comes to all of us. And God wants to help us to deal with fear in the right way. Here, Jesus commands us that we're not to fear those who can persecute us for our faith. The devil is working to inspire evil people. The devil wants to silence us, and he inspires evil people to accuse and attack his people and his church, to cause us to compromise and nullify the power of the gospel. So how are we to overcome fear of any and every kind? Well, firstly, overcome fear with God's friendship. Jesus begins with these words, I tell you, my friends, do not be afraid. Those are wonderful words, my friends. Jesus calls us his friends. However, it's interesting, isn't it, to say the least, that Jesus' friendship to us does not mean that he keeps us from difficulties and persecutions. Rather, as our friend, Jesus is with us in and sustains us in and transforms us through our suffering. So first, we overcome fear with God's friendship. We know that God is our friend. We trust him, that he's our friend and that he's great, powerful, loving. Secondly, we overcome lesser fears with the greater fear of God. Jesus wants to show you, he says here, I will show you, he says, something that will help you to put the things that you fear into perspective. We all allow greater fears to nullify lesser fears. Fear of God is to trump all lesser fears. For example, if your house was on fire, you, I'm sure, would run out of the house and into the night, overcoming maybe your fear of darkness or fear of embarrassment or something. Your greater fear of the fire would overcome your fear of other things, lesser things. Lesser fears are conquered by greater fears. Likewise, Jesus wants to show us that the fear of God is to overcome all other fears. He tells us, but I will show you whom you should fear. Fear him who, after your body has been killed, has authority to throw you into hell. Yes, I tell you, fear him. These are strong words, aren't they? But the point is, the fear of God, this is the subject. This fear of God, our reverence for God, our worship for God, our trust in God, is to overcome all lesser things, all lesser pressures. Our reverence and worship for God is to take precedence over obeying people who are putting pressure on us to compromise, because he's greater. So we overcome greater fears, lesser fears, with the greater fear, greater reverence, greater worship of God. Firstly, this is a message to non-believers. Let's not forget the context and principal audience of this text. Jesus is teaching those who are not coming to Christ, because they are intimidated by the religious leaders of his day. He's warning those who will fear the religious leaders over God that they must fear God's judgment rather than men's judgment, so that they can come to Christ and be saved. Likewise, anyone who is dithering about paying the price for becoming a Christian needs to be warned about the danger of rejecting Jesus out of fear of people. This text is a warning to all non-believers that they should come to God regardless of the cost, or go to hell. So this is a message for non-believers. This is a message also to Christians. To Christians, this is an encouragement to allow a vision of God to expel the fear of man. To us, we're being taught that those who truly know God will not be afraid of any person. This is also a message to Christians about sharing our faith. We will openly confess our faith and seek to help others to come to Christ when we overcome fear of people. We will pray and seek to bring others to Jesus because we fear people going to hell over our own comfort. So in response, we must overcome our fear of people with the friendship and fear of God. Are we allowing a vision of God to cast out the shadows of fear? Are we allowing the fear of God to free us to help others to come to faith and escape judgment? May we all do as this psalm exemplifies in Psalm 56, 3-4. When I am afraid, I put my trust in you. In God, whose word I praise, in God I trust, I will not be afraid. What can mere mortals do to me? God bless you.